I got this mysterious package that kinda hints at what's inside if you look at these logos here. The phrase in Portuguese reads, "Build a great adventure," and opening it reveals some of the new upcoming LEGO One Piece sets based off of the Netflix show. There's a welcome letter of sorts, a nice and simple build of Luffy's Devil Fruit that I hope will turn into a build and take type deal you sometimes get in LEGO stores, and inside there's the 4 playsets the team will offer online and retail stores except for the brickheads. The 18 plus Barati was also gifted to me as part of this PR campaign, so thank you suitPR and LEGO Iberia for sending this over to me, and my friend Pedro for helping with research. Without further ado, here's the 5 main products the LEGO One Piece partnership will be releasing in August. This has fans divided, as people were hoping for these sets to be based off of the original source material, namely the manga or the anime show, but these went the route of adapting the live-action Netflix reboot instead, with live-action Luffy even being featured in the playset boxes. The overall look of these looks really nice, with the map corners featuring the theme logos on one side and the characters included in each box on the other. The backs have the usual callouts for details and functions depending on specific sets, and then highlighting a collectible series of wanted posters in this corner here, with all sets including either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. The 8 different ones to collect are featured in the building instructions, and out of all 5 sets I got, 15 posters in total, I still didn't score the Buggy and Gold Roger ones. All are printed pieces with their respective bounties, though Mihawk's one says cancelled, due to becoming one of the 7 warlords of the world government. Nice little Easter egg there, like many others we'll get to see in these sets. But now let's get into the reviews. The LEGO One Piece Windmill Village hut is the smallest set of the wave, featuring Makino's Party's Bar on Fuchsia Village, the place where the One Piece adventure began. As such, 3 characters are included: Makino, of course, Shanks, and Kid Monkey D. Luffy. All 3 have alternate face expressions, Shanks with the scars given to him by Blackbeard, and having a straw hat to complete the outfit, a new element by the way. As he leaves the village, he hands down the hat to Luffy, so LEGO went as far as making another mold for it without the hair, with a bar attachment, to make it possible to be held on a minifigure hand. A notable part of this set isn't the so-called hut, but rather the clever 4-piece Devil Fruit build that gave Luffy his powers after he ate it, made out of a brown carrot stalk element, a faded green plate, and 2 purple broken eggshell pieces. I don't know, the fact that this was done this well without the need for a new piece, at a somewhat believable scale when compared to the minifigures, is quite cool in my eyes. There's a box to place it, a robot that can be connected to the pier via a chain, and then the bar itself. It does its job well, aided by a few stickers for decorations here and there. The wooden planks of the pier and the angled way the pathway is done was really cool. The hut's roof can be removed, so we have an easier time looking inside at the very bare interior, featuring a bunch of cups, glasses, the bottle the pirates break over Shanks, and the mop he uses to clean it in the corner. So cool attention to detail and the lore of it all. There's not a whole lot of play to be had with this set, and it just feels like a way for people to get their hands on some iconic characters for cheap, which I honestly don't really mind. LEGO goes above and beyond with the first wave of brand new themes and partnerships, and that shows on the pricing of all LEGO One Piece products. 300 pieces for $30 on this particular set, on a licensed set with minifigures and new elements, is a solid deal some other LEGO IP-based products would love to manage. The LEGO One Piece Buggy the Clown Circus tent set is based off of the fight the yet unofficial Straw Hats crew has against the Clown Captain, so naturally the main characters depicted there are included. Luffy, now grown up, is an amazing representation of the live-action character with dual molded legs, what looks like printed sandals even though he doesn't wear any in the live action, and has a piece on his back so he can attach his straw hat. Nami follows suit with the level of printed details and carries her staff. Zoro, on the other hand, is far less detailed printing-wise, though matches the character well, but is stacked weapons-wise, carrying not one, not two, but his 3 katanas, and the solution for his third, and the way it's made to look like he is gripping it with his teeth, was done brilliantly, with a brand new element that connects to the headpiece. And he has his black bandana if you'd favor to display him with it instead of his hairpiece. Last but not least, Buggy with his captain outfit, with really good detail on the prints, a new hat piece with ponytails coming out of the sides, dual molded piece by the way, with printed details on the orange part of the element. He has 2 knives, his weapon of choice, and pieces are included in this set to recreate his cut-down form after his fight against the Straw Hats. The main build of this set is a section of Buggy's circus tent, which was actually an interesting build to put together given the odd angles of the sides and tent's roof. The way there's connection points with cross axles kinda makes me believe LEGO wants you to buy a couple of these to extend your circus tent. There's some stickers for signs and Buggy's pirate flag, but also prints in the form of 2 of the collectible wanted posters. Turning the build around reveals the interior details, which include Buggy's throne, 2 detachable stands, some crates where the clown's extra pieces for his small body form can be stored, lights, a brick-built clown head that heavily relies on stickers, and then one of the 3 traps to keep the good guys in check, this time around Nami's cage. The other 2 are here as side builds to this set, a spinning type attraction for knife throwing, where Zoro can be placed via the studs on the back of his minifigure leg element and spun around like so. And then a water tank, perfect for trapping devil fruit users such as Luffy, with a cool function where slamming this lever-like thing will burst the tank open to free him. Unlike the Windmill Village hut, this feels a lot more like a playset. There's the opposing characters, an entire background for them to fight, and some traps that can be used and played with for some conflict interactions. The character selection is also amazing, as you get 3 of the main crew's characters out of a relatively affordable set, with the added bonus of one of the main antagonists seen in the Netflix show. Price-wise, as mentioned before, I have no complaints. 573 pieces for a retail price of $55 keeps the price per piece ratio below that 10 cents a piece sweet spot I really like, especially when seeing it out of IP-licensed LEGO products. The Battle at Arlong Park is LEGO One Piece's middle-sized LEGO set, featuring the location of one of the most impressive battles of the Netflix show's adaptation. It includes 5 characters, and while there's clearly a standout one, let's go over these 2 first, and a mini-build that highlights the fight between Shu and Usopp. I'm not really sure Shu translates well into minifigure form. The weird-looking fishman would always be hard to replicate, I guess. But Usopp, on the other hand, going by the live-action character, never forget that, looks really good. His floral shirt looks incredibly useful outside of One Piece LEGO builds, his satchel and slingshots are must-haves for the character, and his hair with bandana piece looks like yet another new element for me. The small build that goes with these 2 is a bit of the forest scenery they ran into during their fight, going as far as having Usopp's ketchup bottle down there. One thing to note though, Shu's name is spelled C-H-E-W, I believe, yet the box spells it C-H-U, so I wonder what's up with that. Big blunder if that's a mistake, or maybe I'm missing some piece of information here. As for the remaining characters, Luffy with his stretched arms is both weird but fun, highlighting in a very unusual way his devil fruit powers. Never seeing something like this with my hands before, even though LEGO has done it before, Elastigirl comes to mind, I noticed you can turn the arms around, the hands just the same as they're connected to this piece that's fused to both ends of the rubber arm piece, and since this moves freely within the torso piece, you can slide the arms sideways like so to replicate Luffy's stretching punches as shown in the box. Then there's Nami, very different from the one shown in Buggy's set, that has her arm bandaged, covering her destroyed Arlong tattoo and a secondary crying face, all referencing a very emotional moment between her and Luffy where she even gets his hat for comfort. The last of the lot is one of the main antagonists of Season 1, Arlong, that despite being a fishman like Shu, was this time around recreated in a very convincing way, with a shade of purple closer to the anime version of the character and featuring yet another new element for the hat/hair combo. On top of Shu and Usopp's forest side build, there are 3 others in this set, a shooting gallery game with a cannon that actually works and can be reset for other games. In here you'll find 2 wanted posters as well, while every other decoration is a sticker. There's a shark attack attraction that actually serves as Arlong's throne, and then a sitting area whose highlight has got to be the One Piece world favorite means of communication, the transponder snails, made out of 2 pieces, the snail element I have never seen before, and a ball one with the transponder snail dial printed on top. Arlong Park's pagoda-style building looks okay, not as big as it could have been, but big enough to mark the location. I love the parts used to recreate the Asian-styled roofs, and there's a bit of decay all around, especially at the front awnings under which the 3rd wanted poster of this set can be found. On the back, we can see the interior of the building, showcasing the map room where Nami used to be chained and forced to draw maps to the pirates, some showcased as stickers on the walls, and others as smart element choices made to look like rolled-up scrolls in the containers. Unable to defeat Arlong in battle, Luffy went for an interesting approach in the show by destroying the building, which, surprisingly, at least for me, considering the relatively large scale of these, can also be done here for a spectacular effect. The chunks of the building that fall apart are very sturdy, not breaking into small pieces and the likes of it, so solid play feature here, and one kids might be keen on playing with over and over again. My favorite though is still the shooting range gallery. There's a lot going on for this set, and for that reason I like it a lot, even more so when you consider its relative affordability. This 926-piece LEGO set will retail for $80, making it one of the best deals out of the entire lineup, which is to me seriously impressive considering the fact that the stretching arms Luffy must be kinda pricey to produce, so yeah, great stuff all around. There's very few pirate ships in any kind of media franchise as iconic as the Going Merry, probably making this one of the most sought-after sets of the entire LEGO One Piece theme, regardless if you're a fan of the original source material or the live-action Netflix show. And the reasons start with the perfect character choices. 5 in this set featuring the first crew members of the Straw Hats: Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji. Nami is the exact same one from the Buggy set, and Luffy close enough if it weren't for his straw hat element that this time around has hair. We get new Zoro and Usopp minifigures when compared to the ones featured in these sets I've shown before, and finally Sanji, first time appearance in the review in his classy outfit. LEGO doesn't have an abundance of pirate ships, so every opportunity LEGO fans might get at a new one is always welcomed with excitement, I feel, even a One Piece themed one that has an interesting choice of material for the sails. These are actually a type of thicker plastic foil ones rather than cloth sails I was expecting to find when opening the box. I guess over time these will keep their shape, making for a nicer display piece, whereas cloth ones might sag over time. And it's not only the sails that pack this type of material. The pair of flags with the Jolly Roger decos do as well. You don't really get the cloth look to all of these, which is a shame, but the trade-off seems to be a solid one, though I'm kinda curious to see what the reactions to these will be by people. The ship-like features of this ship are present, of course, with some studs for Luffy to be able to sit in, and the extension of some of those details with O's elements towards the middle here, with some horns curling up with sticker decorations, was done relatively well. The forward cannon is also present, a stud shooter in disguise, and the trigger to fire it can be pushed on the deck. Below this place with the chest and some drinks, the resting spot for Zoro can be found, with a few stickers with ropes and windows for decoration. The main deck has some tools all around and access points to different parts of the caravel. Under the main deck, you can pull this whole thing out, revealing the storage place for some food items and the 4 wanted posters included in this set. The upper decks can be walked on, and here's the spot from where Nami can control the rudder, though no play feature is in place to actually turn the rudder of the vessel down here. You need to do it by hand. There's 2 tangerine trees from Nami's hometown, and the spot where they're placed can be taken out, revealing some more supplies. To access the meeting room, however, a bigger chunk of the ship needs to be removed, showcasing many stickers for decorations on both walls and lots of utensils that are part of the kitchen area. The ship as a whole looks really good in my eyes. It was also extremely fun to build, with lots of cool building techniques to get the shape of the hull right. My only point of criticism is the use of these rubbery elements that I was kinda able to get straight back here, but not so much with the ones attached to the main mast that all bent and twisted look kinda lame. Other than that, I got no complaints here. At almost 1,400 pieces, these will retail for $140, which again, considering the IP license, 5 minifigures and the very large and expensive to produce plastic foil sales, is very reasonable. The fact that LEGO went for a relatively affordable model with this one will make it perfect for new audiences who haven't touched LEGO in years, are eager to get their hands on a LEGO one-piece set, and maybe roping them into buying more product. So if you're considering to get this one and haven't had a LEGO set in years, beware, you might be hooked. With nostalgia-driven licenses, there's always a huge 18+ product to capitalize on people's purchasing potential, and that one for the One Piece theme is the famed floating restaurant, the Barati. The 3,400 piece count shows, especially when you have it next to the Going Merry, as a stacked interior to match its size, and the biggest selection of minifigures in a single set that the entire theme has to offer, 10 in total. As far as the Straw Hats crew goes, 4 are included on their regular outfits, so to speak, all repeats from previously featured sets: Luffy, Zoro, Nami and Usopp, and then Sanji, still under the care of Zeph, wearing his cooking attire. Speaking of Zeph, yet to be featured obviously, and outfit aside, gotta love that braided mustache element. The Marines are showcased here with Garp and his trainees, Kobe and Helme Poo. Cool outfits to build up a Marine-based army. Last, but certainly not least, Dracul Mihawk, one of the 7 warlords, featured as a former bounty in the wanted posters as a minifigure that matches his statues. His signature weapon, Kogatana, is represented with a simple golden knife, while his black blade, Yoro, deserved special treatment and was done as a brand new element. Could have used some printing or dual molded materials to match the source material, but I'm not too stressed about it. And to complete the figure, a plate to connect Yoro on his back is also present. Mihawk's boat is also here as a side build. The weird coffin-shaped vessel that usually has green candles on the anime didn't show up in the live action, and weirdly enough got orange candles in the process for some reason. But with all of that out of the way, the Barati is the highlight of the set, of course, resorting to extensive use of stickers for decorations like the place's name, several windows, door details, and some lamps. The sand green entrance with the mermaid statues give it a nice splash of color on an otherwise very brown looking thing, as does the open-mouthed white fish at the front. There's a bit of a lounge area up in the 3rd floor, a micro-scaled lighthouse at the top, the kitchen entrance on the side here it feels, and a relatively large dock with a gimmick to it, where placing 2 characters in these tiles and turning the gear down here will enable you to have them fight. Kind of. It might be hard to tell from the video, but there is a slight angle to the sides of the facade, which was definitely interesting to put together. As for interior detailing, the fish side of the ship, which was also a great build, serves as a bar of sorts, with a counter down there, a seating area and some tables. And completely turning the model around reveals what this thing is all about, I feel. For the restaurant that it is, there certainly are a bunch of tables for people to dine. 2 similar ones in these balconies up here, and then these ones down here with these larger seating areas. You're probably not meant to do it, but since this whole thing is resting on turntables to be kept at an angle, means that you can actually turn this around. The placement of these chairs here is off-putting though, as this detail in the center isn't a table, but rather an observatory kind of structure to look underwater. The grand staircase behind it was a bit repetitive to build with all of the steps, but does look great, with the B sticker logo there and a few paintings behind it. Also stickers, with one referencing the royal squid, the Straw Hat crew faces in the source material, and another referencing Zeph's former pirate crew, the Cook Pirates. There's 5 wanted posters in this set, 2 by the entrance, 2 by the tables of the balconies, and then 1 by the bar. There's a closed-off area for an office where one of these transponder snails can also be found, and below it a very well-furnished kitchen to prepare food for the guests. In the higher levels, there seems to be another office-type thing with a selection of random objects to me, but maybe they have some sort of significance that eluded me. I do like these new little ladder pieces though. Looking at it, I believe the staircase kinda set up the scale for the entire thing, which ended up turning into a really big LEGO set, maybe a bit too big even. Arlong Park was made recognizable at a very small scale, so I'm questioning here whether such a big model was really needed, and whether or not a smaller and more affordable one couldn't have made the floating restaurant justice still. It is, after all, a 3,400-piece LEGO set, with a matching price of $330, which is fair if you consider my biased metrics of price per piece ratios, though for sets this big, with a big mix of large and small pieces, cost of production is usually easily diluted into nicer price ratios, which didn't happen in this case on a significant scale. You may be a huge fan and get all of the one-piece LEGO sets regardless of their cost, opt to go for just the highly sought-after Mary, or if you have a bit more to spend but not enough for it all, consider either getting the Barati or all of the playsets plus the brickheads for the same amount of money. Overall, I do have to admit that I'm really impressed with what LEGO managed to do with these sets. They may not be what the original source material fans were hoping for, but who knows? Depending on the success of these, maybe that will open some doors for manga or anime-inspired products. Would love to know what you all think of these and how excited you are to pre-order them from both LEGO and Amazon, since they're available already, links in the description, with the first units shipping in August just a few days away. So yeah, like Whitebeard would have said, the LEGO One Piece is real, everyone. See you all in the next one.